Money is a high vibration of love, and when we accept it into our life as a reward, as who we are, it changes everything.
It's a high vibration of love.
It
Just a second,
is.
I gotta let that one soak.
That one needs to soak deep
Yeah.
in.
It
Wow,
is.
because if you love yourself, if you
And
love
you
others,
receive it.
you receive, you
it.
give. It's this
you
infinity
celebrate
sign.
it.
Wow.
Money allows me to hire people to support me.
Exploring the human journey.
My name is Lisa Thomas, and I am an inherited energy expert. And what that means is I have the honor of working within the epigenetics of an individual and the family pattern. My experience in coming to Earth was not the most pleasant. I was born with gifts of being clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsensory, and these gifts for me as a little girl were a burden. And I had a lot of fear energy. I was traumatized because I wasn't allowed to speak up. I wasn't given a voice. Children were to be seen and not heard. And so I was raised feeling burden energy and the fear of being seen, the fear of being known, the fear of telling everybody, anybody, that I had these gifts kept me very sheltered. Until I learned that it is what comes easiest for me is what's going to bring me my most joy. And that's what I do for people, is I help them discover what is easy for them, what their gifts are, and what their life purpose is, by releasing these informational tags within the epigenetics. Hi, Gail.
Hi, Lisa.
People contact me when they recognize that they are doing things that they can't get out of, when there's a bad habit that keeps repeating. We each come to Earth for a purpose, and we can have more than one purpose, but our soul comes with this pre-designed energy of what we want to do. And we've made these agreements with other family members. And we agree to come through bloodlines knowing that we're going to inherit certain qualities, our gifts and our talents. In addition, we're also going to inherit trauma energy. And so in order for our soul to really manifest and do what it needs to do and get out of our way, we need to clear these blocks. So in order for us to ascend and to awaken either to a universal consciousness, to our higher self, our higher power, we have to step in to uncovering and releasing what doesn't serve us. And it's all on an unconscious level. All of us have a human journey. All of us are here to have joy and feel empowered. All of us can experience a fearlessness in what we're supposed to do on this earth.
Hi and welcome. I'm so glad you're with us today. I'm so excited. We have Lisa Thomas on set. We met Lisa recently and we found out that she is this incredible energy healer, and we've actually had some experiences with Lisa, and I'm so glad that you're here. You're going to have such a benefit today. Lisa, thanks for being here today.
It's an honor. I'm excited. I love both of you.
It's fun because we're filming in the beach house in Venice.
Yes.
And just the ambiance here, everything is just so beautiful, and I'm excited.
So Lisa, you have kind of a different take on the energy work that you do, and it's based around epigenetics, correct?
It is.
Tell us a little bit more about.
So we each have our own DNA code. We can't change the DNA code. It's what makes you 5 feet tall or 6 feet tall. It's what gives you green eyes or brown eyes, blue eyes. But within the DNA code is our epigenetics. And our epigenetics is how our DNA expresses itself. And it's based on the life experiences of our ancestors.
So DNA is a right-handed double helix. There's ATCG. They're all bound together. We've got all these interactions. Somewhere in this coding, you're saying that there's energetic things that are being passed down. I don't understand the energy versus the molecules.
It's still energy.
Okay.
It's an experience that gets passed down. And they're inherited patterns that get passed down in a cell memory. So if hypothetically, if you have an ancestor that was an opera singer and it had a bad review. Let's say she was a famous opera singer in San Francisco. This is a true story, by the way.
Oh.
And she was an opera singer. She had a bad review. And that bad review, that critical, that judgment, shut her down to where she did not want to perform again. That trauma energy gets passed down, and then you might inherit a fear of being seen, a fear of expressing your talents because you're going to get shut down. You're going to be criticized for them.
Mm-hmm.
Are they most of those built around emotional things, or can they also be around physical things that are passed down?
Yes, they're called a miasm more. So you can have an inherited miasm, which is a distortion of energy. So for me, okay, I found when I was doing my work, I had an inherited miasm of polio. But polio had not manifested within me, per se. So as I was doing my work, I was like, what is this about? And it was on my father's side. I called up my dad and I said, hey, anybody in the family had polio? And he's like, well, I did.
Whoa.
Oh.
Did I know that? No, right? And he had had as a child. He'd spent a year in bed with a brace on.
Oh, wow.
And his mother would roll him over. And so it doesn't mean that it will manifest, but it can too. So we can inherit pain energy and that will express itself in our physical body.
So do you have people coming to you mostly for emotional stuff or physical stuff, or is it a balance?
It's a balance. So my genius is around business.
Mm-hmm.
Releasing these inherited blocks that we have, unconscious, because we're ready to go to the next level. So we can clear money blocks, we can clear limiting beliefs of how big our ceiling, how big out there we can go. We can clear those limiting beliefs that prevent us from scaling.
Okay.
So as I have deconstructed from that old way of thinking, that fear-based construct of this is the holding room and we're going to heaven or hell when we die and all that stuff, I'm realizing now there's a greater narrative. There's this energy aspect to us as spiritual beings in this human body. So what I'm really fascinated is about how you can actually feel and sense energy. You talk about your clairaudience, your clairvoyance.
Right.
And you said you had these gifts that were occurs as a kid.
Yeah.
Walk us through a little bit of that.
So as a little girl, being able to see spirits is frightening, especially when neither of your parents do. Okay,
Yes.
and my mother understood, and my mother would talk to me about it, but she would tell me, and keep in mind, she wanted to keep me safe. All right, Lisa, these are things you don't talk about. We would be out and about, and I would say, hey, Mom, they're not healthy.
Oh.
And I can look at someone's skin and tell that. That doesn't mean I know what's wrong. I can just tell. And she would say, shh, right? So, and it was her desire to protect me. But over the years, if you don't feel safe to be who you are, because who you are is not acceptable in the world, then what happens is this oppression sets in. And then as time goes on, so does depression. So does anxiety, because what if? The anxiety around, what if somebody finds out? What if they really get to know me and they're not going to accept? What if I slip up and I tell something?
Those innate fears of not being
Yes.
accepted.
Yeah, not being worthy to fit into the
Worthy,
world, not being
yeah.
allowed to be on the planet the way I am. Yeah.
Did you have some kind of near-death experience when you were really young that triggered that to happen, or it just
It was born this way.
that way from the
This is,
get-go?
I know no other way.
So you're like 3, 4, or 5-year-old and you're having conversations with...
Yeah. So
Your imaginary friends?
My imaginary friends were real friends.
Yeah.
My imaginary friend, her name is Ethel.
Oh.
And this is a great story. Do we have time for a story?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, please.
Okay. So it was a little...
I'm sorry we're out of time. Thanks for...
Well,
no.
Okay, we'll do it another day. Okay. So Ethel is from Alaska, and she is a Tlingit Indian. Now, I didn't know this until I was older. And she would come at night when I was frightened, and she would create like a, you know, when you were little kids, you had to make those diagrams in a
Yeah.
shoebox type of thing. Well, think of it like that for a 5-year-old mind. And she would create this diagram.
Diorama?
Diorama is
Yeah.
the word I'm trying to
Yeah.
say. And there would be like a teepee. Now, they didn't even have, but that's where my mind could go, see.
Yeah.
And she created this family environment that was warm. There was always a fire, and it created this warmth. And then she would like tell me a story, all right? She'd create this imagination story with me, and I would be able to fall asleep. Okay.
What, I mean, like 5 or 3 or what?
It happened, I don't know, since I can remember, okay? So I was little, and it was just the way it was. This is who I had. And as a child, I talked to myself. My mother would say, Lisa, you're talking to yourself, but I was really just talking to people around me, okay? All right. Now, I'd never forgotten those experiences, but I changed, right? So I didn't need that around me all the time. And as I got older, I suffered from depression. So my postpartum depression turned into something more serious. But keep in mind, I've never been allowed to use my voice.
Yeah.
So I didn't know who to go to for help. I just thought I was ill, but I didn't know how to get help. All right. I'm sitting in my backyard, leaning up against a garage that you're at my home, okay?
Beautiful.
And I just knew I needed some vitamin D, and I heard this voice, Lisa, it's me. Now, I didn't see her, though, but I knew the voice. And I said, you're back. And she said, I never left. And I want to help you. I'm going to cry. And she said, but you have to call your dad to find out who I am. All right. So I have to call my dad, who I don't talk about with these things with.
Boy.
But he knows, but we just don't have this we didn't at the time. And I said, Dad, I'm in my backyard, and I hear this woman's voice, and this is the woman that used to play with me as a child. Who is it? Well, all of a sudden, he's like, we connect. Dad and I connect. And he's like, well, Lisa, her name is Ethel, and she is your grandfather's wife. And I'm like, he goes, I didn't know, Lisa. He said, I got involved in genealogy to find out my roots. This is back early in the 70s, before it is now. And he said, and I sent away for my mother's and father's marriage certificate, and they sent me 2 certificates. And I didn't know my father had been married before. And he said, so I went to my father and said, I didn't know this. Well, my grandfather's a Quaker, which shed a whole lot of light on who I was.
Wow.
And it's not that you weren't allowed. You never shared as a Quaker your personal information unless there was a need to know. Okay. Well, Ethel is from Alaska. She's a Tlingit Indian. She died of the influenza before she ever had children. And the story is he held her when they'd only been married 3 months. And she lifted up out of her body. She walked away, turned around, and said, Orrin, I will wait for you.
Wow. I just got goosebumps all over.
God.
Let's
Put it in
the story.
perspective.
Oh.
She was my guardian. She still is my guardian angel.
Yeah.
So if she had had children, this lineage would have been part of her bloodline. So she felt very connected to my father, to me, to family. And she took me on as somebody that she could help. And she truly has helped me.
And you probably feel like a child to her, that she's helping.
That's exactly right.
Guardian.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And my husband just took me back to Alaska for our anniversary, just because of who she is in my life. And we started out in Sitka, where she lived. And as I looked out the airplane driving in, I had never been to Alaska. As we were flying in, it started with what I call tender mercies of the universe giving you those experiences to allow you to know who you are, right? And we were crossing over the top of the mountains, and I just started to cry because these were visualizations that I will get for clients about being on the top of your pinnacle, connecting with people on there, but they were real. This is real space, right? And we landed, and I felt like I was landing on territory, my part of the world that belonged to part of me.
Wow.
So it all comes full circle. Long story.
No, it's beautiful. So where is she right now in the room? Is she like over here watching?
She's
over
actually
you?
like literally kind of right over there.
Is she right over
Yeah,
here?
she moves around.
Because I could feel like this energetic
it
thing
is.
right over here,
Yeah,
and I was
it is.
like, I know for real. I was like, this just feels
It's
warm.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful. So does she give you connective information to help guide your business, your work with people?
Not so much.
Okay.
Guardian angels, they have an opinion when you ask, so know that, okay? They will never take away your free will. They're never going to, they're here to protect you and guide you, but they're not going to take away your free will. So if I ask, then she's going to tell me.
Right.
But I base my work not on being clairvoyant. So as soon as I realized there was another way to do my work, that's what freed me. Yeah.
When you
So
say another way. Yeah.
Another way.
Tell us more.
What
Right?
was the other way?
Well, our subconscious is our master controller.
Okay.
Our subconscious knows who you were before, and it knows everything you've experienced here. And all you have to do is ask the subconscious, which is why hypnosis is important. It is a great healing method. And so I use kinesiology. I'm trained in a lot of kinesiology and hypnosis. But if I ask the body, so I connect with you, you've worked with me,
right.
and I muscle test. So I'm going to muscle test your body for the answers. So it comes in the question that I ask. I'll ask what needs to be released to take you to the next level financially. And we'll pick a number of what's doable, okay? And then I'm going to find the block based on, I have like 3 different long scan sheets. So emotions, words, let's break it down to a word has a vibration. Every word in the dictionary has 8 megahertz. But it's not interesting for me to ask your body, what's the megahertz? Your brain doesn't jive with that, right? It jives with and it connects with experiences. So I'm going to muscle test. Your body's going to give me the answer of what the block is. And then I can release it. So where the gift comes in is oftentimes ancestors will come because when I release it from you, it's going to release from them. So if you inherited it on your mother's side, it will release from your mother, whether she's living or has passed on.
Wow.
That's why it's so important in our human journey, to do our work now in the physical body. It's much easier, easier. So it'll release from them. Now, everybody has an opinion as to why you are the way you are, all right? And if I listen to everybody that's talking to me, then I don't know that I'm really serving your highest good. I will always trust the client's subconscious mind, their body, and then the clairvoyance helps me in figuring out where other places it shows up in your life, because it's never one. You know, right?
Right.
And also it's like the icing on a cake. Then I can replace it because I'll get that information on who you are, why you've come here, what you need to do.
Yeah. Okay, now something I needed some clarification on.
Okay.
So the concept of free will.
Yes.
I was raised with the idea of the religious context is you have free will to choose heaven or hell, and that was the only purpose of free will. Now, agreed, admittedly, that's an old paradigm. It's not something that I'm going to use as a guiding light for my life.
It's in your imprint.
But it's still in my imprint, this thing. So now as I continue to grow and expand in consciousness, I'm like, free will. I've been learning about astrology. I've been learning about the way I am as a Sagittarius and a fire sign and an Aries moon rising and a Taurus ascendant, all of this stuff. I'm like, wait a minute. And I'll read like a chart and it'll list out exactly the way I feel. I'm like, oh man, I don't have free will. I'm a computer chip. I'm a video game character. And so, and then I do hypnotherapy, and I came here to have these experiences and a life path, and I picked out this thing. How does free will go in with your flowing down the river that you pre-picked for your life, but you can change? How does that all come together?
Well, let me tell you how we get hung up. If we have a belief that we have to know the end from the beginning, that takes away the universal to bring us opportunities. So free will comes into how it has to be. If you try and control your life within and set too many boundaries, you're taking away the free will of opportunities coming into your life.
Oh, that's a different way to look at it.
Yeah. And I almost, that religious paradigm is creating so many boundaries that just follow the recipe and you'll be safe.
So think of religion instead of as only negative. Think of it as it just teaches you like a good way to live with humanity. That you treat people well, that you do good in the world, right? And let's take the negative out of it because it does do some basis of good.
There's community.
There's
ethical
community.
behavior.
It teaches us that. It teaches us what is okay and what isn't. Now, sometimes it goes too far, which is what you experienced. But you're not in that paradigm anymore. And so releasing the control of what used to be will help you expand and be more flexible.
Even like you said, Dave, you've got a lot of anger going on there. We're going to work on that on your next session. So I can't wait for my next session. So there's
an inherited anger. So you're going to trigger really easy because of this inherited anger on top of your life experiences. So it's not just, we don't get everything inherited and that's the way we are. But what we inherit gives us the framework of who we are. And then those experiences come in to validate that. And we can change that.
Well, that anger for me, I think, comes from the fact that God loves you and has a wonderful plan. But if you don't get it right, you go to hell. I'm like, well, I can't love that character. I can only worship in fear and hope I don't go to the bad place. So then you're angry. You're like, what? This is all. What about all the people that don't get to go to heaven? And obviously, I have let those ideas fall, but that energy still, I'm still like, oh, and I feel like I got betrayed by those authority figures, the parents or the pastors or the friends, and I feel like maybe they tricked me. And there are many other people that went, oh, I grew up in spirituality, I communicate with angels, or I have, I'm like, whoa. But then I think I picked this path. Oh, okay. Well, what was that about? Why would I be so upset at a path that I picked?
Well, we don't necessarily pick easy paths. We pick on what we feel that we need for the next step that will help you ascend to that higher level. That's what we pick.
That's really good. Lisa Thomas, that's a way to punch the show right there. Wow.
And can I be transparent here with you?
I'm really sorry,
okay?
But that's all the time
this is
we have
about
for
you.
today.
Okay? So I want to ask.
Let's do it.
Yes.
So part of you letting go of your anger is letting go of this identity to the negativity of your life. And if you let go of the identity and the story, then who are you going to be? See, this isn't, your anger it's really about, you don't know who you're going to be if you can't be this advocate against religion, against, God, in a sense.
So fun.
And I'm saying, I believe in you, that you can be empowered to help other people without the anger. Anger, will cause physical ailment.
And misery.
And misery.
And
frustration.
I have Dr. Joe Dispenza, I was reading his book, and he's like, some people are addicted to misery. I'm like, oh, wow, there it is.
There is, and there's an addiction to suffering.
And I have learned that it is better to be for something than against. I'm against this and I'm against that. Well, why don't you be for something?
How about for empowering people?
How
about for transformation? How about for feeling love and knowing that anything is possible?
Ooh.
That's good.
That's empowerment.
That's juicy.
This is a free show, right?
Is it?
You're just dropping all this information on people. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's so good.
I'm happy.
So the energy, the connection, the stored things, all of that. When you're working, now I've had a session. I'm listening, just like we had in the feature video where Gail was there. I'm listening with the headphones. You're talking. You're moving your body. You're feeling things. Talk to us about the things that are going on energetically with you and how you're tapping in. Because I remember you're like, oh, I'm tapping in. There it is. And you can feel it.
Yeah, I can feel it. So for me, I feel it. If I feel anxiety sometimes, because once I get connected, right, I tease you guys. I say we are now a we. So I use we a lot because we are, right? But I don't hold on to it. So I really want you to know that, because a lot of energy workers, they take it in, they get sick. I don't do that. I've learned over the years how to keep it separate. And I want to say that because I'm sure you have a lot of followers that are energy workers, and you do not need to take your other people's energy in. If you do, you're going to weigh 300 pounds. You're going to have a lot of heartache and a lot of misdirected healing.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, I do feel it on a physical level, and there is a sense about me, and I mean it in the most humble way, okay, in gratitude for my abilities. But think of it like there is a knowingness where sometimes I don't have to feel the pain in the shoulder. I can see, I can sense, but I don't have to feel it to know it.
Okay.
Wow, yeah.
Right? I just have to
better.
trust that what it is the truth, and I'm not hung up on not getting it right. So if you say to me, yeah, that doesn't have to be perfect, right? Like if my client interrupts me and says, that's just not exactly right, I don't have that experience, but that might cause me to hold back, if that makes sense. So I've learned I don't second guess myself in my work.
Well, you tapped into that intuition.
Yeah.
You learn to trust it.
I trust it, absolutely.
That's the tricky
Yeah.
part.
Right.
Is always wanting, like, I don't always trust myself. So I get my pendulum out, or I muscle test, or I do something
Yeah.
like that just to validate my own self.
But what you're doing is you're teaching yourself.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
It's just,
Yeah.
you know, I'm
How do you
like,
do
I'll
your
get
muscle
there.
test?
How do I do
Yeah,
it?
demonstrate.
I usually do it like this.
That's one way.
Okay.
That's
So
one
for
way.
most people, the yes is strong, and others they can pull it apart. The no is the no.
Yes.
You pull
no.
it apart.
Oh, so you'd ask a question and then
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I did. Like if I or I'll if I'm trying to decide what dose of vitamins to take, I'll see which way my body sways.
Huh.
So
Yeah.
swaying, you can hold it up to your heart space like a vitamin and stand, and your body will sway forward. Now somebody will email you and say, "No, I sway backwards." You can ask, "Show me my yes, show me my no," and your body will sway that way.
Like with my pendulum, you know what my yes is. So if he walks in on me now, he's
He
like,
knows.
"Oh, I know what
Oh.
your yes is. Oh, I know what your no is. I don't know what you're asking, but I know the answer."
Then I go into anxiety. I don't know what you're asking about. Usually when you get this look on your face.
Yeah.
I think the last time we did that, you had mushrooms or something. You're trying to see what your dose was. Or...
How many mushrooms to take?
Was it? I seriously
Were
do
you
that.
Ayahuasca?
Yes,
She
I
did it with ayahuasca.
I
too.
did this last time because I had a really rough first night. And I went to the second, and I was like, Dave, I don't even want to go back. This was like too much pain. And
what did I tell you?
And so he goes, oh, I see you've graduated 6th grade and don't want to go on to 7th grade, huh?
Because I felt there was,
This is what you
Fire I
do.
live with.
there was
Yes.
more for her to
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go meditate. So I went and I was in meditation, and I was like, feeling, yes, you should go. And then I was like, then I heard less is more. I'm like, oh, less is more. And so then I was like, so I actually got my pendulum out, and I'm like, full dose? No. Half dose? Big yes.
Yes.
And so that's what I did is I went in with that half dose, not caring what everybody else, because everybody thinks more is better, right?
Right.
And
You can put the body on overload.
I ended up that's
That's
what
what
was
it did your
happening.
first time.
That's what was happening. But there was a lesson in it also for me that I figured out over the whole weekend. So ultimately it was good, but then just the lesson of learning that my body is more sensitive than possibly others, made a huge difference.
So give some presence to the spirit, the things that are going on there with the pendulum guidance. Some people, yourself, you're tapped in, you get that. Other people, they need some sort of an aid. I know for me, the most profound spiritual experience I've ever had was in ayahuasca. It's a psychedelic experience. It's plant medicine. I'm like, what? And I'm tapped in, and I'm getting information that's brand new. I was like, I couldn't think of this. So give context to spirit moving and some help. Gail gets these spaces where she's in meditation. She gets information.
Yeah.
Kind of, for some people, they're like, I have no idea how to tap into spirit. Give some presence through these different modalities.
Through different modalities. Well, first let's talk about the individual, what you have to do. If you are out of congruency in your life, it's very hard to trust your higher self or source. Right?
Wow, that's good.
So you have to be congruent. You have to be in integrity. You have to honor your word so that you can trust the information coming to you and you follow through.
Oh, we've got guests on set.
Follow through.
This is Moose and this is
You
Red.
know that I love animals. Yeah. And then there's a lot of different ways to practice to get your answer, and that is a pendulum. This is the thing. When we base our decision on something else, you do open yourself up for not getting the whole truth. Okay? And what happens when that happens and we feel kind of tricked, it takes the wind out of us. And then we feel like it makes us feel like a failure, and we feel like, how do we trust? So I say to all of the pendulum stuff, okay, because I have a pendulum too, is that you take it and then you feel if it's the truth for you.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's what you don't use them for. You do not use them for a lottery. You do not use them to find out the future. Okay? You use it for the present tense and for an answer. And really, it's better to use it. Is this the correct? I've come to this conclusion. Does it serve my highest good?
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
I've noticed that I use it almost as like a confirmation tool.
Yes.
Like I'm
Much better.
training myself to listen to myself or listen to the messages that drop in. But when I'm just like, I just need that little bit of reassurance that I am going down the right path.
And it's about you need people ask questions, right? Is this my ego mind answering this question?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this some funny spirit that's hanging out with me thinking, you have people around you. They can influence them. That's a whole nother subject. So you just want to make sure is this my higher self or my ego? Ask that. You want it to be your higher self who always has your highest good.
That's good.
So, to that point,
Yes.
give some presence to the spiritual being having this human experience, coming into a body, and now that body's got a personal protector. It's got this fight or flight. It's got this, I've got to keep myself safe, this ego construct. And yet the soul being is like, I'm complete safety. I'm part of the divine connection. But this ego is like, no, this is all I have. So there's spirit and ego fighting and warring within me anyways. I'm like, I'm afraid to, but yet your soul is like yearning for this thing. Give some presence to
the
that.
soul gets held back when we have a lot of things blocking us and trapping us. So that's why I love the work that I do, is because I'm releasing this energetic block that prevents your soul from truly manifesting. So let's put it in an earthly context. Think of an electric grid to the house or to a building, right? The electric panel. If one of those wires gets crimped, what happens? Electricity doesn't flow, right? And it's the same way in our body. And our physical body cannot operate. It can't get over being stuck. We repeat patterns, we procrastinate, and the soul can't get us out of that if we can't take action. So by releasing these things that don't serve us, our soul's able to take control of the physical body in a more balanced way, and you can take action in your life.
So it opens the channel back up.
It opens the channel back up. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to
That makes
install
sense.
underground sprinkler systems. So if you use an analogy about a pipe being
Oh,
see,
yeah.
that would have really connected with me.
Yeah. Well,
But your analogies were great.
they do, don't they? Yeah.
So what's this karmic journey about? What am I doing here? This spiritual being that I can't remember. What's all that about?
That you can't remember?
Got the amnesia. I don't remember where I was before I
Nobody
came
really
here.
can. That's part of the process. We have
Well-
to learn to trust who we are, return back, in a sense, better than we came. That's why, let's go back to being a Sagittarius, right? Or I'm an Aquarian, okay? I'm a lot of air in my sign. For me, it's about learning how to be grounded, staying out of this element and connecting with Mother Earth. For you, it's getting out of judgment. So we all inherit within the time that we are born, right? A blueprint, a structure, and we get the positive and the negative. So it's learning to offset this negative more in the positive, right? That's why being in integrity is so important. If you learn from the mistake, here goes the positive, right?
Yeah.
If you keep making the same mistake, then the pendulum switches and you're living in more of a depressed area or bad things keep happening to you.
Okay. Yeah, that
Interesting.
getting out of judgment, that's, I feel that. I'm like, oh, I feel like I have this desire to be liked by people, or I want to do it the right way, or I don't want to mess it up.
Right?
Yeah. What the heck is going on? And then you tell me I have free will. I feel like I'm a video game character.
Well, put it like this. You have free will in the decisions you make. Right? So if you live in this pattern of always pleasing other people for your worth, but you aren't allowing yourself to get paid for the great content that you're doing, you don't allow yourself to get paid for your editing because you get your thank yous and, oh my gosh, you're so awesome, Dave. Well, what happens? You get frustrated because there isn't a balance in this. So you can be spiritual and prosperous. And when we over-please, where we people-please, which I think people-pleasing is a gift until it's out of balance, then we are always helping everyone else and we don't look inward. So we put our own life on hold because we're helping everybody else. That's not serving you.
There you go.
That's really good.
On your website, on your abundance class that you do, is it a class? What do you call it?
I call it an activation program.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So it's a money activation where we clear the inherited and then we clear the pattern of dishonoring money. Right? Dishonoring money is spending what you make. Okay. Or not raising your rates. Things like that. And then accelerating it. But what's the question?
Well, we've been listening to, you did.
Good.
You answered it right. So we do listen to him often as we're going to sleep.
Good.
Your voice is very soothing. It helps me to
Thank
sleep.
you.
I don't know if that's good or not.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't
Put
hear
us to
what's
sleep
going on.
Many times good. From 10 o'clock on.
Hey, it works.
Good.
So it's all good. You use those meditations in conjunction with the other work that you're doing, correct?
I do.
So what is the other part of that work?
So the other part are people that want to work with me one-on-one and get that one-on-one help. So I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of CEOs, a lot of producers, and a few directors, right? And the Hollywood world kind of comes and goes. I find that there's an ebb and flow in this free will of people, right?
Yeah.
Of who comes to me. But my brilliance is deciphering and helping people clear blocks in different aspects of their life so that their soul, their journey that they came to Earth to do can really manifest. So if you have a desire to get out in the world in a bigger way with your content, all right, but you're always helping people, right, that can't afford to pay you, okay, that's really valiant on one level, right? But it's not going to get you out into the world. So you can do both, right? You can come up with something that is of a great value that somebody can afford, but just know that you are not the answer to everything.
Yeah.
Just like I'm not the answer for everyone. So I've learned, I have this saying that I say to myself, okay? Lisa, just because you can doesn't mean you have to.
That's good.
Let it sink in,
good.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because you can, you don't have to.
Yeah. And it's really helped me because my bandwidth cannot grow anymore right now until I figure out how to be able to do more healing meditations or different platform. I'm tapped in my hourly.
There's only so much physical
time we have.
This physical container you're full.
Right?
You're saturated.
Right?
Yeah.
So my prices have gone way up in my private and I'm still packed. Right?
Yeah.
So what I want to do, what I created with the healing meditations is so that people can work with me that cannot afford that price. That helps me balance my need to want to help everyone, but can't because of cost. Everybody can afford $97 on some level.
So
don't go to Starbucks so much or something. And I have free content too.
the meditations are a standalone. They're
Yes,
not
they are.
necessary to work with you to do the
No, they're
work
standalone.
of releasing the epigenetics.
And in some of my bigger programs, I implement both. So if I'm working with someone and I feel that they have a ton of fear around change, I have a whole fear of change series.
Okay.
See, we can fear change and not realize we're really afraid because, I don't fear change. I'm out doing stuff. you know you're afraid of change when you stop taking action, or you're going sideways in your action and not forward. If you keep going to the same therapist for 5 years thinking you're taking action for transformation, you're afraid of change. Okay,
You're staying stuck.
Oh,
'Cause
you're
still
stuck,
in the 5 years.
Oh, absolutely.
How long should
Yeah.
you go to therapy?
Well, actually, therapy is really good because therapy brings to your awareness why you are the way you are. I'm going to release that megahertz, that vibration that keeps those patterns coming back.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
tell me about reaching the masses and like writing a book or something like that.
I should have brought my book. I did just write a book.
Really? Tell me more.
I'll tell you more. It's called Mistakes into Money.
Wow.
Right? And I wrote it first for women because women as a whole, there's one coming out for men. Okay? Women as a whole will ruminate, get stuck on their mistakes that they've made, and think that it's too late in life to do something else. I wrote it for successful women to go to the next level because we get stuck in our overwhelm, our people pleasing, and our perfectionism. Now, men have all those too, okay, but it's going to show up a little bit different, all right? But for women, let's say you're a single parent, all right, and you've been married twice. You're the CEO of a company and you're making $250,000 and you're trapped in this belief that this is good enough, but you're not making profit in your business because you can't let an employee go, or you're still hung up on the fact that you have to do it all because somebody's going to let you down because the first two husbands let you down. See, they all interact. And when we get out and when we learn and get out of this space that our mistakes are holding us down, we can make money with our mistakes.
So this is a brand new book.
Brand new book,
Wow.
Mistakes into Money.
Okay. And is it available through Amazon?
It's
your
on
website?
Amazon. I'd rather you come to my website,
Yes.
right? I really
course.
would.
Instead of one
and it's
penny, you
called
could get a full dollar.
Right, mistakesintomoney.com. And on there, I have a free report. Like you can go on there and it'll be the 10 most common mistakes you're doing that can help you make money. So if you get trapped in a certain situation, download that. You'll relate with it. It's relatable.
Okay, now
Yeah.
everything you said, I'm like, I'm going to read
Until-
your book anyway, even though I'm not a
I
female.
love that. So there's
Right?
stories because you will relate with it.
Yeah, and
then
when it
there's-
says wife or husband,
you'll
you have
just-
two husbands. I'll
right?
just say, okay, if that were a wife. So.
Yeah. And they're real life stories about my clients, and they're real life tips on how you can get out of this mindset and figure it out. And then I'm going to write a program around it. So then there'll be a program.
So there's like a workshop type of.
That's what I want
some
to do
practical
is have
things.
a
Yeah, now
yeah.
I feel a
there
lot
we
of
can do
life
a
on that.
live retreat. I can release those blocks.
Okay.
So I love releasing group blocks.
Yeah.
I just love it, and it's doable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to see the future for Lisa Thomas.
Are you?
Yeah, and then we can
exciting.
say we knew her win.
know,
Do you remember Win?
You
Wow,
guys are great.
this is fun. Give a journey through this karmic soul process. What is it that we are here to learn and accomplish? How many times have we done this? How many times are we going to do this? Kind of, tell me the meaning of life.
Oh, no problem, Dave.
To sum it
Because
up.
the meaning of life is different for everyone. But is that enough?
It's different for everyone.
It's different for everyone.
Tell me more.
Because we each come for a different journey. So let me expand it. And this is an analogy that I love to use because oftentimes we get hung up in other people's journeys. So people come onto our road, onto our path with similar things. They come in and out of our life. But when we attach to someone's journey because we think they're part of our journey, what happens is we give our power away and we get off our own journey.
Ooh.
So I think of it as a fly fisherman, and you cast this line and you hook into someone's journey. All right, but this fishing line is hollow. And so we give our power away trying to help them because we think we know what's best for them. So the most important advice I can give is don't get hung up on someone else's journey. Don't take away their free will to solve it because you think you know the answer. Because when we get that, we give our power away. Right? So just because they're on your road and just because they come and go, there's no harm if people leave your life. Like this morning, I was working with a client and she was really hung up that everybody had to like her, everybody had to love her. So she asked her boss for this raise. She had this backbone and she did it. The boss flipped out. And what did she do? She went back, I'm so sorry I upset you. I'm fine. I'll be fine. How are you feeling today? And I'm like, you lost your power,
Oh, boy.
right? You can leave this job and be okay that she doesn't like you because it's not working for you, right? That's what I mean. So they can be on and off our path, but that doesn't mean we share the same journey because nobody has the same journey.
Oh, my.
Kind of getting into that, being emotionally responsible for the way somebody else is reacting to us when we didn't do anything wrong.
Didn't do anything wrong. And then if you did, then that's where you have to be in integrity and you have to say, you know what? I didn't handle that well. I'm sorry. And then you learn from the experience and you don't do it again. And it's the same for partners. If you go through a divorce or a separation and you're out dating again, okay, and you attract a nice individual into your life, if they have a different face but there's a same pattern, then you're dishonoring yourself and you're staying in this pattern of being a victim to the same thing repeating. That's what I mean by we have to learn from our mistake and get rid of it and just change it. So I tell people when they're working through relationship drama, if they have the same personality in any way, shape, or form, you don't go out with them again. I don't care how nice they are. I don't care how much money they make. You have to stop the pattern. They have to be emotionally available if that was the issue. Attracting emotionally unavailable people.
Oh, wow. So that is, you see that in relationships where people, you know, there might be a person that a friend, and you're like, why does that friend always attract a similar significant other? It's that same, because there are vibrations here. And they
It's
somehow.
the vibration. We send it out in our energy system unconsciously. And that's why you can look at someone at a bar, look at somebody across there and go, man, they're good looking. And then before you know it, you're like, yeah, they're not my people. But you really don't know that they're not. But it's because of that frequency coming back and forth, they might really be your person.
Okay, this makes me think of my life. Okay. I'm going to reflect on myself here. And this isn't well, it's not relationships, business relationships.
Let's talk about business.
Okay,
I love
business
it.
relationships.
Okay.
So I tend to attract bosses that are very difficult people, or not even.
Well, everybody else has a hard time dealing with them except
But I
for
can
Gail.
deal with it.
And see, that feeds you on that level. And then you can show your brilliance because you can problem solve their complicated life in their business and take care of the things that nobody else can do. Right?
Right.
So it feeds you.
Is that bad?
If you're not getting paid enough, it's bad.
Okay.
If it takes away your soul, if you're giving your soul away to this individual and they're so demanding that you don't have a life, then what do you think?
Well, then it's bad.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you have a gift for helping complicated people. Get paid to help complicated people.
I should get paid double for
Okay.
complicated people.
So the next time you apply for a job like this, then you'll do that. Or we clear blocks so that you can, in true integrity, because you know and believe it, you ask for that raise. And you're able to verbally express why you need it.
Yeah. And I was able to work through that. With this last one, I kind of rearranged my work situation.
Good.
And it was a year ago when I was deciding whether to stay, to go, what to do. And I was an employee. I ended up coming back off of a 3-week stint in Costa Rica where I could clear my head.
Right.
Right. And I came back and I had originally told him, this is a way I'm thinking of going. I want to be a 1099. This is the rate I want. And so I came back and I said, okay, no, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to back up. I'm not going to work as many hours. And this is the rate I want, which was like $10 more than what I had originally asked an hour. And he's just like, he's like, well, that's more than what you asked. I know, I changed my mind. So
Yeah, and he gave it to you.
And he gave it to me.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
He gave it to me, yeah.
And he would have owned you. Yeah. And there's some situations where that might have worked great, but not this one. So way to go.
So there's that
Okay.
CEO of a company, him or her watching this right now, and they're thinking,
Right.
there's something that I'm just not getting right. I've got money that's coming in, and my employees are happy, but there's just something. I know there's more. I know
Right.
there's more. What does Lisa Thomas do to that? With that
I'm
person?
going to release the upper limiting belief. So oftentimes, especially successful people, they'll reach a limit, and then there's this current going on in their system where, you know what, mom and dad gave up their whole life for me. They worked blue collar jobs, and my siblings don't make as much money as me. And so they limit their success because they don't want the people in their world to be uncomfortable.
That
Right?
guilt.
That guilt.
Oh, a little
Or I
guilt.
already make enough. Why do I want more? And the opinions and judgments of other people, you don't have to be aware that you have it, okay? But it is in your operating system. Or the other biggie is, I'm going to be too busy if I expand.
Oh.
That means I'm going to have no life, which goes on for women in particular, too busy, okay? I'll be too busy, I won't have time for my family. Or they have this belief that they can't have children and success in business. Men are better at tuning that out, but what happens when men tune that out, their relationships do suffer. And divorce happens, right? Because the family is getting none of their time. So it's about learning and believing that you can have balance and growth, and clearing that limiting belief that I already make enough, I don't need more.
And part of that you have shown me is you think money's hard to get, or it's hard to keep
Yours is
money.
here.
There's not enough, and you're like, there's that. You got to work hard to get it. I'm like, isn't that the way it's supposed to
It's
be?
the addiction to struggle for you, because then nobody can judge you, right? If you're working 14 hours a day, who's going to judge you?
That's right.
It doesn't matter what they think at that point, because you're proving that you've earned that little amount or big amount.
Well, it's interesting, even between the two of us, like I had to stop this competition that I had to work as hard as he did.
Interesting, right?
Because it was like this competition of, oh, I'm working, and oh, I better be working if you're working, or I just got into this spin, and I'm like, no, this is not going well. There's other things I do, and those other things are just as valuable to our family life as it is to do that and stuff. But it was a struggle.
It is a struggle.
Caught up in it, and sometimes I even still get caught up in it.
It's hard to let go of our stories, isn't it?
Tell me more about that story.
Well, a story is what we believe to be true about ourselves. And we can share all the reasons why we have hip pain. We can share all the reasons why we're a victim. And we get stuck in these stories because we want people to understand us. And there's a lot of different reasons we want them to understand us. It gives us the excuse and the reason as to why we haven't done more in our life. Because we got the story, right?
So I'm staying a victim then.
You stay a victim.
Poor me. You should feel sorry for me.
That's right. Okay. So see, your story is so strong around the whole religion thing, all right? And
Dave.
heaven and hell and love and hate and condemnation and oppression, that your story is, if I let that go, then what am I going to be empowering people for?
That's right.
Right.
So then
But your story actually is holding you up
I'm
because you're in
letting
this
that
struggle.
continue to move through,
Good
and
for
I'm
you.
leaning into the expansion of love and joy, finding that energy of bliss, that vibration of just, this is the best. It can't get any better. I wonder if it can get even better. That energy of bliss, that's what I'm leaning into.
And you're leaning into it really well. I want you to know that.
Really?
Because what you're doing is, this is how I see the positive of what's happening, is you're leaning into other people's story. And you're creating a platform for people to share a story of their transformation. Right? So you're having a transformation, you're empowering other people, and you're giving hope to the planet, to humanity, that people, you can transform out of your misery. You can let go of struggle.
Oh, that's good.
Right? That's the journey of the human soul. Is to overcome. And overcome does not mean struggle. Overcome does not mean misery and burden. It means moving through and taking action in your life. We can't live here. We have to take action.
That's the power of even. rather than would you like more money? Would you
Right.
like even more money? I'm
That's
like, oh,
right.
that's such a better energy.
Yeah.
Right. And money, it kind of gets this bad rap. Now, right now, there is a big movement to change that, which I love because I'm all about changing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But money is a high vibration of love. And when we accept it into our life as a reward, as who we are, it changes everything.
It's a high vibration of love.
It
Just a second.
is.
I got to let that
yeah,
one soak.
that one
just
needs to soak deep in.
It
wow.
is.
Because if you love yourself, if you
Then
love
you
others,
receive it.
you receive, you
it.
give. It's
Yeah,
this
you
infinity
celebrate
sign.
it.
Wow.
Money allows me to hire people to support me.
Yeah.
So one of my stories, my biggest story is I'm unsupported. Unsupported, right? I got to do it all myself. I'm unsupported. The people I hire, they don't come through with what they say they're going to do.
Oh.
Well, what do I learn from
Wow.
that? I have to interview better. So now what I do is, and this will help people in business, I don't want to know everything you do. I can look at your resume to know everything you do. I want to know what you're brilliant at. What are you going to love doing that I need? Then I'm not going to ask you to do something you don't love to do.
Wow.
So my abundance then feeds somebody else and they help support me. And it's the cycle of life, right?
That's good.
Yeah.
What a
when-
contribution you're being. Thank
Yeah,
You're
because when
welcome.
people are in their bliss,
Mhm.
they don't mind doing it.
Yeah.
No.
It's easy.
I want a culture of love and support and helping each other.
you.
Mhm.
Yeah. Can you do the spreadsheets? Can you do the thing?
Yeah.
Can you
do what
work
I'm
the
not
mouse
brilliant
and the
at?
computer?
I
Yeah.
am not brilliant at those details.
Oh boy.
Like it takes so much energy for me to do it. But somebody else that loves that, right?
Me.
They can do that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I enjoy that big. Let's go this direction. She enjoys taking all the pieces and putting them together to keep that direction moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get to see the whole picture and then put all the puzzles
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I love putting puzzles together in people's lives
Mm.
with their ancestors and their children and everything they got
Yeah.
going on. Yeah.
So there's a lot of that.
So there's that similarity just in a
Yeah.
different space.
Yep.
So that ancestor energy that's still present within us,
Mm-hmm.
you're helping that move. So if someone is not working with you directly, they can still reach out there. You've got resources.
Mm-hmm.
What are those things we can do to let those energies move past us from those epigenetic ancestral energetics?
When it comes to the epigenetics, you need somebody to help you.
Okay.
All right. Even me. I mean, there's only so much I can do on myself. So oftentimes a healer will come to me and they're like, man, I worked on myself for 8 hours. And I'm thinking, and you've hit a block. Like, we have an upper limiting block. We have a root block when working on ourselves because our subconscious is protecting us. It's only going to let you go so deep. And then you're guessing. Okay. And so you really need some help
Mm-hmm.
at that point. So I'm saying that for those of you that are working really hard, don't be so hard on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And life is about learning to trust help from other people. So if you're trying to control your transformation, this is where you just need someone to help you.
Trying to control your transformation.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It is tough, right? Because we
Yeah.
think we know and we don't want anything else to come out that we can't handle.
Mm-hmm.
And but really it's by allowing these things into our life. And then let's go for what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
You can allow when you feel, let's say somebody triggers you. Okay. Well, I have some tools and tips to help you with that. Okay. But one thing you can do is just allow that emotion to go through. Be present with it. Don't just try and shut it off or turn it in anger back on them. Just go, okay, what do I learn from this? What do I get from this? All right, I'm moving on.
Let's say there's somebody who gets triggered by things that people say, Dave?
We all do. Everyone's going to have that. All right. So want a tool? Want a tip?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
let's-
do.
Okay. We get hung up in this notion of forgiveness. Okay. And we really get hung up. If we forgive, then that means we're giving them off the hook. And it also, the biggest fear of forgiveness isn't that, isn't letting them off the hook. The biggest fear is that we'll get something bad will happen to us again. And then we also have that story of why we were messed over, which gives us a reason as to why we are, right? It's really letting go for us. It's the hardest thing. So here's a fast tool you can do in the moment. Okay. You're going to count to 12. And let's use a moment of somebody either flips you off when you're driving and you're totally unaware that you did anything, okay? Or they cut in front of you. We're going to make it a driving experience.
Oh, this is good.
Okay.
This is
All right.
really good.
I'm not an
Okay.
angry driver. I'm an efficient driver.
Okay, well, guess what? I, behind the wheel, turn into a wholly different person. So I've taught myself that I use this, all right? Because I'm on a mission, and if you're getting in my way, get out of my way, quit drive. I have an issue with
Oh my
Prius
gosh, it
drivers.
sounds
Oh
so
my gosh. I think I could do a stand-up comic on Prius drivers. What world do they live
That's
in?
one of my top 3 never get behinds is a Prius, a bus, or a taxi.
Right?
Because taxis have to go slow so they get more money.
Yeah.
Buses stop all that. And
Yeah.
Priuses, what is it?
What is it with them? Oh my gosh, we could do a whole show on Prius drivers. I love that you want to help the planet. After that, please drive in the lane at the speed you're going.
Pull over. to
Quit
the
getting in the
side.
fast lane and going the speed limit. Okay? I don't care if you have a bumper sticker that says you can drive in that lane. Just because you can doesn't mean you have to.
Lisa
Go
Thomas in the house.
65
Oh my gosh.
in another lane
Oh, I
because
love it.
I want to go 80 in that lane you're
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Welcome to LA.
Welcome to LA, right? We are on the move. Yeah, every
Same
place. Yeah. All right. So this is what you do. The number 12 is a balancing number. So you're going to count out loud, and you don't have to do it slow, especially if you are being triggered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now here you go. I, Lisa, forgive myself that driver just got in my way. I forgive myself for overreacting. Now this is the key. You count out loud and you speak out loud. I call this active transformation when you speak out loud. All right?
Okay.
I forgive you. You can even say idiot for cutting me off. I forgive your unawareness of humanity. I forgive you for angering me. Do you see how you're teaching yourself to go deeper in your root triggers? You're teaching yourself how to forgive at a root cause. And you have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive them for flipping you off, cutting you off. You have to forgive the Prius driver, all right, for not being aware. Because you're literally, people that go the speed limit in that fast lane, they're not aware of anybody but themselves.
And it's dangerous.
It is dangerous. So you want to say, I forgive you for creating danger and the long line.
Yeah.
And I forgive myself for being annoyed. Forgive yourself for being peeved. Forgive yourself for being annoyed.
Yeah.
And get out and go on. Right? But you start doing that, I promise you, everyone, you start doing that one tip in the moment of being triggered, even when you're the victim, 100%, in the anger of a spouse, your child, slams the door in your face, go in the other room, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Look, you say it out loud and it brings a balance to the system, especially as you do it more and more. I forgive you, son, because I know it's not about me. I forgive myself that it hurt me and I took it personal. See, you reacted. You have to forgive yourself for being that way.
It's like teaching yourself how to love yourself.
You are.
I feel like I would
And
have
how
to
to let
count
go.
much slower than that just to give myself some space.
For you, Dave, I don't want you to do slow.
Okay.
Because
all right.
you get hung up in it too long.
Oh, yeah.
All
yeah.
right. Now, sometimes you can count 12 when you got a lot of stuff. So there's another forgiveness exercise you can do with that. And there's a whole thing where you want to count to 12. If you're bringing and you're coming down into your heart space, count slowly. This is to get rid of the trigger, anger, frustration in the moment. You just want to balance. Don't get hung up, Dave,
Yeah.
on how to count.
Yeah. Oh, you're
See?
really good. Yes, surgeon. Yes, surgeon. Wow. Why do you live in Los Angeles? Because you can work from anywhere in the world.
I can. You ready for this?
Yes.
So when we were in Alaska, there's a backstory. When people would find out we live in Alaska, oh, I'm so sorry you live there.
Oh.
It's a trigger for me. I'm going to tell you why. I don't want to live anywhere else because I grew up partly in Las Vegas. I went to grade school and junior high in Las Vegas. Fine there. Then we moved to northern Nevada to Carson City. Carson City, I think, had 16 to 18,000. Not super
Yeah.
small,
Yeah.
but small
Small.
for
It's
me.
still a small town.
Yeah.
Oh
compared
my
to
gosh.
Vegas.
All right. But I was bullied. I did not have a backbone. I was afraid of my own shadow. All right. I was truly picked on.
Wow.
I hated high school. Hated it. And it's not that I hated the people, I just didn't know who I was.
Mm.
And so I felt like I mean, either I was too skinny and people would make fun of me. This guy would make fun of me because I was too skinny, right?
Man.
I mean, and it's true. I was really skinny. In fact, I had the wind blow me off this mountaintop one time.
Oh, wow.
So now I can laugh about it. So there was truth in it. And it really hurts us when there's truth spoken in a very mean way. And everybody knew your business.
Yeah.
Everybody. There was so much gossip. Everybody, moms, phones. My mom was not a gossip, so I always trusted my mom. But it was not an experience. In fact, I really, later in life, I fell in love with a couple guys from Carson City. And you know that I could not marry them because I couldn't live in Carson.
Oh, boy.
Because I was so afraid. You know, and there's one of them I've never even told that because I was afraid of living there and going back to that awful life, right? So Las Vegas, and I make Carson sound awful. I could live there now. Just know that. It's a beautiful, charming town, and the people are good. This was my issue of how I experienced it. If I could have been me now there, it would have been amazing. I'd have been an amazing kid having fun with amazing people.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with the people. It was my fear. I lived in fear for who I was. Now in Los Angeles, nobody cares what you do. And for me, I can do my work. I can be whoever I am.
Yeah.
And I'm safe. And I also live on a street that I call it Mayberry, USA.
It's beautiful.
I live where I could be anywhere in the world on that street. And I'm disassociated from the hectic and the panic. And I also disassociate myself from traffic because traffic is just a way of life. And so I've learned to cope with that by not listening to the radio. So I do driving meditation, active meditation.
Yes.
I talk to my guardian angels and my guides.
Yeah.
I manifest while I drive what I want in my life. I do active form of prayer in my car. And I'm not associated, not attached to it unless I'm behind a Prius. Then I get triggered, okay? Going 65 miles an hour in the fast lane. Can I just say, not just the fast lane, they are in the carpool lane. Get out of the carpool lane. Okay. Then I'm triggered. But
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
7,
8,
8,
9,
9,
10,
10,
11,
11,
12.
12. I'm back into space. And I also leave about 10 minutes early. So I've learned to cope with that. If you're running behind in Los Angeles, you cannot blame the traffic.
Yeah,
you're in victim
You
mode
can't
then.
catch up either.
You can't.
Yeah.
So you leave 10 minutes early. You know when to drive and when not. You have modern day tools that tell you what the traffic is, right? And then turn off the radio. Turn it off. Be in your space. Get out of talk radio because it's going to feed you with that negative energy, that chaos energy. I don't mean podcasts. Listen to podcasts, right?
The
I'm not
news
talking
and
about
the,
that. I'm talking about the news. You don't need to hear about who's shot and all the other people that died. Guess what? It happens. You do not have to be attached to it, especially if you're an empath. And as soon as I learned about what being an empath was and those triggers of watching the news, I cut that out. I can live anywhere in the world. I can help people and not be living in fear.
I really like your reframe on the traffic. Just that
Thank
perception, it makes all the difference in the world.
It does, right?
You know, otherwise
Yeah.
people are living in misery and suffering
They are.
because they hate the traffic and they hate
They're victims to the
driving in
traffic.
it. Yeah.
Let me tell you what else we get in Los Angeles. We get beautiful weather.
Mm-hmm.
And I flourish when there's sun. I couldn't live in beautiful Seattle or Portland. I love the smell, but I couldn't live there because my senses drop.
Mm-hmm.
I need sunlight. I need
Yeah.
heat.
Yeah.
Me too.
And I get that here.
Yeah.
And I get the ocean and I get the breeze and I live close enough that I get all those elements and I thrive here. It's perfect for
Nice.
Lisa Thomas.
Beautiful.
Love it.
Wow. How do people find you? How do they reach out to you and get a hold of your resources? What's your website?
Okay, so you can go to Mistakes into Money if you want to learn about money, .com. And my website is lisathomasenergyhealing.com. And on there you can get onto my calendar for a 15-minute assessment. It is not a healing. It is not anything but to make sure that I'm the right fit for you. I am going to be launching a certification program, so I'm telling this for a reason. So if I'm not a fit for you, I can give you to someone that maybe is more affordable, right? And I can also direct you into a type of healing activation that would serve you. So there's a lot of different ways to work with me, and I can help guide you, and I get about 15 minutes of your time.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow. That is a gift.
Yeah.
For those people that want to come to your next retreat, where's that going to be held at?
Where should we plan it?
All right.
Well, there are many ocean resorts along the Southern California area. That's beautiful. Costa Rica's nice too.
Costa Rica's nice. We
So
do have a
what-
mutual friend that has a place in Costa Rica.
Really? So when are we
Yeah.
planning this now, Lisa Thomas?
Let's. My year's pretty booked.
Well,
so how
we're talking
about
2021 or 2020?
2020?
Okay.
There we
Okay.
go.
Yeah, let's do it in March of 2020. How does that sound?
There you go.
Okay.
That works.
I'm going on sale now.
Going on sale now. I need to get a landing page for that. Okay.
Oh, that's so good. I can't wait. As we wrap up, I like to have the guest give presents to. If there's one thing I want to make sure people really take away from today's episode, it's this. And there's just been such a contribution to consciousness, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
But if there's this one thing I want to make sure you know, what would that be for you?
I would want you to know that the epigenetics, your inherited DNA, right? Your inherited patterns is not because you did something wrong in a past life. Your parents didn't pass it down to you on purpose, and you didn't do anything wrong. And to awaken to this higher self that you don't have to keep it. Just know you didn't do anything wrong. Parents, you can't blame them, okay? But you can get rid of it. There is hope, and that your life has a purpose. You came here to do something, and your life has a meaning. And I don't care how old you are, your life has a meaning, and we can make that happen.
Oh, beautiful.
Very good.
Lisa Thomas, you're
Oh, so
amazing.
good.
I can't
thank
wait
you.
till my
I
next
love
session
being
with
here.
you.
Yeah,
So,
we're up soon.
Yeah.
thank you so much, and to you we say namaste.
Thanks for joining us here on Exploring the Human Journey. You can find us as a video on YouTube or listen to us as a podcast. You can also join in the conversation by following us on Facebook and Instagram. For more information, go to the website at exploringthehumanjourney.com.